Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review. Next up is the Hasbro Marvel Legends series X-Men Starjammers Chod Build-A-Figure. I know some people say Chode, but I think even Ryan Ting had said Chod on like a fan stream. So here we have the Build-A-Figure video. We've looked at the entire wave already, and now it's to take a look at the Build-A-Figure, and then this little guy that accompanies Chod, and I think his name is pronounced Cr'reee? Cr'reee? I think it's Cr'reee. I don't know. If you guys let me know down in the comments below if I'm saying that correctly or not. But here again, this figure is essentially the Abomination Build-A-Figure with some changes, of course. The torso is going to be 100% the same. We get an added belt in there though. The arms are semi-new. So like the upper, like the bicep and the shoulder are reused, but the forearm and the hand are actually new, which begs the question of, if the hand was going to be new, why didn't they give him 4 fingers instead of 5? So that's an interesting one. The feet, the legs are the exact same. So really the only things that we get new are obviously, of course, the head sculpt. We do get this guy, which is an added benefit. So just, half the arm on each. Otherwise, we basically have the Abomination Build-A-Figure. So I will put that off to the side, and let's go ahead and start piecing this guy together. So Chod, let's grab the right leg. Let's port that on there. Boom, like so. We got one leg. Let's get the other leg. Boom. So we have his legs already nice and easy. We got the left arm. I'll just pop that in place like so. Get the right arm. Boom. That's not in there all the way. Boom. Right arm. So far, easy peasy, right? And then we get the head sculpt of Chod. And we'll just pop that on. And bam. There we go. There is Chod. And that doesn't look too bad. Obviously, whoops, his head popped off a little too easily. Easy, right? Whoops, hold on. Gotta close his jaw up. Man, that hinge keeps wanting to move, preventing me from popping the head on. I don't know why I'm having the most difficult time popping this head sculpt on there. Okay, there. It is on there. So there is the Chod Build-A-Figure, and then we have his little pet, Cr'reee, I want to say. And this looks pretty good. It's okay. The issue is really in, the shortcuts that Hasbro took in getting us this Build-A-Figure. We get these fins here, but he should have a large one on the back. And all they did was the spikes on his spine, they painted those like a yellowish color. It's not exactly how it would be an actual fin type of deal like you see here on the forearms. Would have been really accurate. We get the kind of the layered look lines on his shoulder, his torso, the forearm, the hand, but the bicep we didn't get. Like, if they were going to do this portion of the arm and the hand new, why not just do the bicep as well? That's one of those shortcuts that Hasbro took. Like, oh, no big deal. But it's very noticeable. Like, it really, it's very odd because, again, they gave us the hands and the forearms that are new. So the bicep not having those lines looks really weird. The legs should have had them too, but again, since this is a reuse of, rhino legs and abomination feet, we have, we kind of face that again. You get the layered look on his feet, but you don't get it throughout his legs, which it really should have. There's no fins on his leg either. And then the feet should actually have like another toe or spike kind of in the back. But we didn't get new feet to go along with them. So definitely shortcuts in here. It does look good, just overall looking at it. It's just not very accurate, which is frustrating. We get Starjammers figures finally, and you get somebody like Chode, but then it's not completely accurate. The accuracy of it would make this figure so much better. Not that it's terrible, it's not, but again, accuracy is important, and unfortunately we didn't really get it on this figure. But Anyway, let's go ahead and get in for a closer look at Chod. Okay, so here's an up-close look at Chod and, Cr'reee. Anyway, I have him on his shoulder. As you can see, he's not really flat-footed, but when you see images, you see a lot of times he's up here alongside him. So I think that actually looks pretty good, even if, you know, again, you look at it from behind, it's like, oh, that doesn't really work. You know, I don't really know of any other way to do it unless you did something like this, but then even 1 foot would still be up. But anyway, that could kind of work out. Let's go ahead and get Cr'reee out of the way. He just has a little bit of black for the eyes and a tiny bit of red in there for his pupils. And you could just see it's just all in a white plastic. He's got a furry texture to him. The only point of articulation is the head, because the head is on a ball joint. And you could pop that off if you wanted to, as you can see there. Snaps on the nice and easy. As you can see, you could get kind of rotation and things going on there and kind of gesturing with some head tilt. But there we go on that. That looks pretty good. There. Now let's take a look at Chod. The cool thing about Chod, again, is he has the articulated jaw, which I like, as you can see there. The articulation was a lot wider, but once you pop the head on there, you know, there's not a lot of room for that jaw to move. So you have this little bit here, and I don't know if I'm actually moving that jaw to fit along with what I'm saying, or if that even looks like it's him talking. And now I'm just kind of having fun. Anyway, the Chod head sculpt looks pretty good. The green's on there. Nice and bright green. We see a little bit of a yellowish tint around his lips. White for the teeth. He's got a black tongue in there. He's got red for the eyes. There looks like some color shading. It's like in the digital print of his face in there. And it looks pretty good. I like the way it came out. A little bit of yellow added in for the end of like the fins there on the side of his head. So that is kind of nice. Let's see. Move his head up a little bit. His head actually looks a little small compared to his body now that I put it like that. And I think it's just because it's the shape of it. Whereas like Abomination's head fits a little bit more. That's because it's got like a taller head compared to Chod. But anyway, looking at the back of the figure, again, we get these, instead of like a fin on there, we just get these spikes that are part of the body there, and they get the yellowish paint going on in there, which is good. We do get some yellow shading up here in the collarbone area. It looks like the torso didn't really get any other coloration to it. It's just done in the same green color, but it's this rubbery feeling overlay piece, as you can see, where it's a separate piece that's like glued on there. It comes around. That section is what does get a little bit of paint. And you can feel the difference between the hard plastic and the rubber type material there. But the hard plastic of the torso really doesn't get any paint or anything on there. We have a red belt with a little bit of gold there at the buckle. He's just got like these grayish trunks in there. The arms, we get a little bit of some yellowish shading in the shoulder there. We get it somewhat on the fin as well, and that works out. Looks pretty good. And then back of the hands, we get some yellow shading going on there. You can see the back of the other hand, the fin, the shoulder, all of that there. The legs, not a whole lot going on for them, just kind of green. But the feet, we do get a little bit of that yellow shading in there as well. So that looks pretty good. The toes, the nails don't get painted in or anything, not even on the hands, unfortunately. But yeah, there is Chod overview. Again, it looks pretty good. Overall, aesthetically, it's just, again, the accuracy to the comics. It is just, you know, it's kind of tough that we see that, you know, it's not fully comic accurate. But does look pretty good. Okay, so Chod's articulation, again, articulated jaw. He can look up that much. He can look down that much. You can get some rotation, which ends up just looking like a pivot or a tilt kind of thing. The shoulder you can get to go almost straight out, as you can see there. You get a full rotation in there. Upper bicep swivel. Single jointed elbow, which gives us just a little under 90 degrees, if anything. Wrist swivel, and they do hinge, standard horizontal hinge there. Ab crunch on this guy, so he can crunch forward that far. He can go back, one little click back, if anything. Not even really a click. Legs go out that far apart, not a whole lot. He can kick forward that far. Leg doesn't really go back. You got an upper thigh cut in there where the leg comes together to the torso. Single jointed knee gives us just under 90 degrees. Let me see, can I push it more? Yeah, just under 90 degrees there. Foot hinges all the way down. You get some hinge up, ankle pivot, peg holes at the bottom of the feet. So he's a big boy. You can't expect too much movement out of him, but what we get is pretty standard. The basic standard level of articulation. It's the same that we saw with Abomination, because it's essentially the same figure, so there really isn't a whole lot different. And it's crazy to me, again, that the hand, that we would get a newly sculpted hand with those layers, but then do 5 fingers instead of 4. And I'd have to look. Maybe there's some art with him having 5. I'm not sure. Or maybe there's future plans to reuse these hands again. So they're like, you know what, let's just do it with the 5 now and save the money later on instead of sculpting new hands. But again, it comes at the sacrifice of comic accuracy for Chad, which is, disappointing. So I just wanted to do these side-by-side comparisons before I bring in all the figures from the wave, because this is the Starjammers that we have so far. It's nice to see that we're getting some. So I would imagine that it's in Hasbro's mind or best interest to, if they start a team, that they eventually finish. Now, they tend to finish teams. It takes, at times, many years, but they do tend to finish teams. So we have the Starjammers here. So Raza and Hepzibah. Hopefully they'll be coming soon. You guys let me know down in the comments below. Who would you like to see released first out of the 2? And do you, of course, think that they're going to release them? I, for one, think that they will, since they got Corsair and Chad out of the way. But again, sometimes you never know with Hasbro, and sometimes it could just be really far down the road. Maybe they do a 2-pack. I doubt. But maybe in whatever the next X-Men wave is going to be, that we'll see, those 2 characters included. I think it would be great for them to do, and I'm sure that's something that they're going to want to do. Okay, so here is Chad along with the entire wave. And if I were to do my ranking, I would probably rank it... Ooh, it's going to be a toss-up. I think I'm going to go with... I think I'm going to go Cyclops number 1, Corsair number 2, Monet St. Croix number 3, Fang number 4, Emma Frost number 5, Kid Omega number 6, Chamber number 7. Chamber's the weak link for sure, but the figure, again, is way better than I thought it would be, because the upper body is essentially new. The arms, somebody did correct me, they are not new. They were used on Agent Jimmy Woo, the MCU figure. At first, they had said, oh, it's Jimmy Woo's arms. Then I was like, no, they aren't. I looked at Jamie Woo's arms and I didn't see the pattern in the jacket, and I totally missed it. The pattern is absolutely there. So shout out to the person that pointed that out. So we have seen the arms before, but it's nice to get pinless. We got the new upper torso and a cool leather jacket. A couple of people have asked about this, and I didn't think about it at the time. I originally had wanted to, but I had also kind of forgot about it and didn't think about it. Will this work for a Ghost Rider figure? And maybe we shall see. I'm going to pop this head on there. Just know that this body is like really small. Like, if you compare it to the Ghost Rider figures that we had gotten before, that's a huge size difference between the 2. But I think it's, because of that leather jacket, people want to know. So the ball peg is not going to work. So the ball peg is super large compared to the much smaller ball peg of the Ghost Rider head. So unfortunately, that's not going to work unless you Dremel out the Ghost Rider head. That is not something that I would be doing, but that's something that, somebody somewhere could potentially do. I think the head is going to look quite large on this very small body, but you know what? I'm not sure. I don't know. Let me see if we can kind of fake it a little bit. Nope, there it goes. There goes the head. Hold on. Let's see if I put the ball peg all the way back and kind of rest the head on there a little bit. Yeah, I think the head is going to look too big for the body. I'm not sure, but unfortunately, it's not something that's going to be able to work out. Sorry, guys. I tried. Unfortunately, again, won't work out. So, anyway, that was my ranking with Chamber being down at the bottom, and I don't even know if I can remember how I ranked it. Cyclops number 1, Corsair number 2, Monet St. Croix number 3, Emma Frost number 4, Fang number 5, Kid Omega number 6, Chamber number 7. I don't even know if that was the same from the first time I said it. But you guys let me know down in the comments below. How would you rank the Wave? What do you think of it overall? And what do you think of the child Build-A-Figure? You know, it's got definitely shortcomings and shortcuts made to it. But overall, I think it still works. Even if it's not completely accurate. It's nice to see that we're getting some Starjammers, because I have heard a lot of people really say that, you know, they want to see the Starjammers. Corsair is such an awesome figure. Definitely really caught me by surprise. But Cyclops is still going to win it overall, like for the top figure in the Wave. In my opinion, you guys might be different, so please make sure to let me know your ranking in the comments below. If you guys like this video, please do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. Hit that join button to become a channel member and be a part of the MCU Collective. And as always, thank you for watching.